If you've ever wondered what to do after your starting pose, this is it. I don't just change poses randomly or shoot off a specific posing list. I branch off based on the couple's energy. So as you know from my prior video, I always start my couples in the same position because it offers a sense of safety and their ability to open up and blossom during the session. But what happens after that starting pose is where the magic truly happens, because I call the starting pose my breakout pose. And it allows me to show them the back of my camera and give them a lot more trust in me and the process. What direction I go after that pose entirely depends on the energy of the couple and how the couple responds to the first pose. Quick recap on how I start. I always start with my male or the masculine person in the relationship back against the wall. I have her line up so that her butt is into their groin or pelvis region. Head is tilted back. He is dropping and teasing kisses up and down her neck. This hand is like on her throat, on her chest, wherever it may be. And then this hand is gripping, same thing. Her hand is over the top of his head and then holding whatever this hand is doing. That's where I start, because that is where I get a lot of my beginning photos for my story arc from, whether it's shot from here to here in the tension here, full body, angle full body, angled close up. I get usually about 5 to 10 different photos from that starting pose. This is immediately doing connection, trust building, and kind of gives them the chance to break out after this. Also gives me a read really quickly on how the couple feels about the situation, whether I'm going to be softer about the posing or more spicy. So branch number 1, after I do that starting base pose on the wall. If the couple looks at my back of my camera and feels like, wow, oh my God, that's amazing, that turned out better than we thought, and they seem like a little friskier, playful, that's when I go with this branch. This branch is going to be more assertive in this instance and more of a what I call power struggle between the couple. For this one, I'm going to put an example over here, but I'm going to have her turn and face the wall. I'm going to have her hands up nice and high on the wall, chest forward, bum back towards the partner. I'm going to have then the partner come in from behind of them, grip their hands on the wall, usually closest to the window light. Then the other hand is allowed to explore from the middle of her back down to her bum. Sometimes, because my couples dress in layers, I might have him or her pull the dress up, feel their bottom. If they're really frisky, I allow hands to travel south just because they make great photos. But again, do what you're most comfortable with. Why I like this is because A, it keeps him or her super engaged. It adds the heat instantly to the photos. And it creates a visual flow for the story arc. So we get like the coming home feel where, you know, you're up against the wall and then flipping around to like a power control reverse, if you will. In this instance, I'm not escalating randomly. I'm actually escalating with the story arc and the energy of the couple. Now, say I do that starting pose on the wall where, you know, he's got her, you know, leaning up, kissing her neck and doing all of that. And they look at the back of the camera and I can tell she's like, oh, that's nice. That's a sign she's still very timid in the process. Or even if he like nods, instead of being like, wow, let's go harder, they want kind of more of a softer energy. These are also things I talk about when we're getting ready for the shoot, which I can explain in a different video of the timeline of events. But basically, I'm reading their energy. Are they quiet, emotional, not quite there yet? That's when I branch into branch 2 instead of option 1. This option is going to be softer, less frisky, but still great for the storyline. I do this same or similar pose in maybe a more aggressive format later on from branch 1, but I move right past the scary, frisky side for this softer version for branch 2. So what I have them do then is I shoot natural light. So I'm going to have them move into the center of the light of my window. I'm going to have them face each other. I'm going to have him stand with his ribs up, because guys like to slouch or girls like to slouch. So always have your one partner's ribs up. You're going to have them tuck their hands into their pants pockets and they're not allowed to move. their hands, no touchy. Their only job is to continually make eye contact or notice what their partner is doing. Okay, so that's partner one. Partner two is looking them in the eye. They are going to have, it's always a girl, even if it's same-sex couples, it's always a girl. So her knees are together. She's popping the one closest to the camera, so putting a little bend in that baby. And then she is pushing her butt back and her ribs up. Never have your male, female, or any of them look like down like that. I always tell them to extend your jaw and look down with your eyes. That's a very good, helpful tip. Nobody wants to look like this. So always extend your jaw out, but my eyes stay cast down. Just an FYI on that. So if I'm looking down, I'm pushing my jaw out and down and then ribs up so that I have a jawline. What I'm going to have her do is I'm going to have her put her hands on his chest. Whether, if he has a button on, you're going to slowly undo the buttons. Slowly. You can look at the buttons, you can look at them. Never push your chin in, always push your chin out. If you have a t-shirt on, totally okay. You're going to tuck your fingers under the shirt, thumbs out, pushing it up. Don't push it up like this. I tell them push it up at a stagger, like you're going like this. Same thing with the button up, push up and off. If it's just a shirt, I'm just pushing it up a little bit because obviously he's going to have to take it off later, which is again another pose I flow through. What this is doing is it's creating that intimacy again without performance. And it feels more like romantic than like whips and chainy. And honestly, it photographs beautifully, which is why I also do this in branch one. I just like to go a little friskier in branch one than I do in branch two. I want to say this, soft does not equal boring. It's just all intentional because not every couple that walks through the door is going to want BDSM or the swing or all the aggression, and that is okay. Sometimes they're just looking to reconnect, and that's all I'm asking for is to allow me to help them reconnect. So, and then after I do these two, this is where I branch both of them. So this one, branch one and branch two. So branch two is the shirt off, branch one is the one against the wall. Then I do branch two or pose two and one because I do have to get a shirt off. Regardless, there is multiple ways to also get a male shirt off. I'll explain that in another video. But this is why we wear layers, because it helps with the storyline. If we just walk in pretty lingerie like we do in solos, there's only so much you can do, and I always like to make a storyline. That is why we're gonna go into branch three. So where it goes with the layers. So after I do the shirt on both of them, I focus on making sure his attention is on him, because I always want to tell you, men are not props. So I've given you the starting pose and 2 avenues to branch off of that. The one with the shirt does come back because we do have to get a shirt off. So 9 times out of 10, that's how I get it off. What else you can do with the shirt off is you can have him cross his arms, like have her chilling on the wall, not chilling, but posed on the wall. Then have him walk at her and, like I say, do like a little Magic Mike dance where he takes the shirt off. Always crossing arms if it's a t-shirt, fling it to the side, and then you can like plant his hands on the wall. Usually I tell her to like grip her hands on the back, this. That is an option for branch one if you don't want to like mock branch two back over. In this instance, shirts off in both. So where do I go from here? It's kind of all dependent. If they're friskier, I'll go friskier and do like a pose with her knees on the ground, or her on the ground on her knees. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, I do this regardless. The direction I take all depends again. Are they softer or are they friskier? So kneeling on the ground in front of him, he really hasn't done anything. Right now, I leave his hands in his pocket so he can't move or progress out of this, because I like to give her some control. So if they're more friskier, this is where I'm going to do what I call like the finger lick. This is where I have her tease him however she wants with like licking his fingers in and out of her mouth. And then at one point I will give him like approval to take your hands out of your pocket and go ahead and touch her however you want within reason. Now, if that is just, that's frisky side, non-frisky side, I'll just have her on her knees facing him, hands on his hips, leave his hands in his pockets, and then like looking up at him, she can like kiss and tease his like belly button region or even lower. But this is where I kind of like allow him to take control at one point and put his hands on her head however he wants. So it insinuates more than what's really happening. To me, even if you're soft and you just want to be connected, you still do this at home. So you can still do this. Now, Camille, what if I have two girls? You can still do this. Isn't that excellent news? Because this activity in a male-female relationship still happens in a female-female relationship, if you get my drift. So I can use it both ways. If you want, one time I can do a same-sex couples whole posing course because I've done them and I love them. So regardless, the point of this is that the man is not the prop. I'll put that right here. The man is not the prop. He is part of the experience. I always have guys come in and say, I'm just here to be a prop, when at the end of the day, they gain body confidence, they gain a chemistry back with their partner. Everyone feels a lot more connected, and I haven't had a guy walk away from this experience and not say, let's do it again. Or a female walk away from this experience and be like, let's do it again. The biggest thing is you just really want both people to be like seen in the photos, not dominated by one person. The caveat to that is dumb relationships. I'm gonna put that right here. We'll talk about that another time. And I want to come back in full circle. All of these branches come from the same pose. So whether you did branch 1 frisky, branch 2 softer, they all come back from the same pose. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't cross. There are so many ways to flow out a story arc in couples, but these are some starting points you can take into your studio space that doesn't look like you're posing two people in prom in lingerie. Because the world needs more couples boudoir justice. I'm not inventing new poses. I mean, I totally am. But I'm doing everything with intention. Structure first, response later. What I mean is structure your pose, allow the response. So if you walk into a couple session and you feel like you have no idea what you're doing, you're so scared, you're so nervous, you forgot the shot list that you had, or the pose list that you have, you are in the right space. I will be here to help you do the whole thing, no gatekeeping. I will teach you how to shoot just like me. Granted, I like to change it up every time, but I'm going to show you how to bring that steam, that tension, and that chemistry, and that connection straight into your own studio space. If couples boudoir is something you want to get into, smash that subscribe button, and we will be diving in super deep, so stay tuned.